Today we're going to just be going over updating to version 8. Version 8 really is going to be an easy update. There's not going to be too much science involved with it. We actually have well over 100 people using version 8 at this time. And this is version 8 actually introduces the PCI version 3.0 of KeyPay and Keystroke. It also introduces the EMV support for the Cayenne Genius and also the Mercury with the VX805 device. And I'll go ahead and get started here. What we're talking about again is just how easy it is to update to version 8.0. So there we go. As we all know, the Keystroke Live is at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays. Again, sorry for the delay. So what we're talking about here is you as a Keystroke dealer and or any of your end users are encouraged to update to version 8.00. We've actually had it out there for many months. We've been using it internally here for, gosh, almost 9 months now. And we are actually have it for release since build 20. Build 21 is the current release. In this note here, it talks about updating requires version 7.00 or above. I'm going to have to do some research. Somehow I thought it used to be version 6.3, but this is what the slide is showing. We're going to go through just some simple processes of making sure you have a backup. You always want to make sure you have a keystroke backup of your whole keystroke folder in case something were to go wrong. If you had your whole keystroke folder and things went wrong, you could just run a regks program and on the version 7 and be up and running for that. We're going to install the version 8. I'm going to actually go to the download link that we would email you with a product ID. So at any time, if any customer of yours or if you as a dealer want to upgrade to version 8, just give us a call and we'll send you a product ID. For the serial number, of course, they have to be current on support. I would recommend, right now we're having the Super Silver sale in case any of your clients are due to that have been expired and want to move to EMV. Now is a great time to buy it. If you haven't seen the email, let Nick or I know and we'll send you a copy of the email. That's pretty much we're giving anybody that's expired the unexpired rate for silver this month of July. Easy, we're going to do the install. We're going to open up Keystroke. It'll do a very quick conversion of the data. It actually does stamp the data files with version 8. It does update and encrypt the clerk database with passwords to a higher level now than we have used in the past. And it's very difficult, if not impossible, to move back to version 7.15. So keep that in mind. Make sure you have a full backup. There will be no way to go back to your old clerk database once it's been converted, so make sure you have a backup. And it does require running the Setup WS program on each workstation. In version 8, there's some different features we do in our setup programs. One is to allow everyone access to the Keystroke folder. We do provide help support files for Windows 10, Windows 2012 Server or 2, and some other tricks of the trade that actually these setup and the Setup WS program actually accomplish. So keep in mind, it might just open up fine. It might actually register the files and take care of its own business, but there's some little parts of the registry that we now use in version 8 that kind of help things clean themselves up. And then lastly, we'll talk about the Keystroke Update Installer to stay current on the current version of Keystroke, and also that's a way to get to our third-party drivers without a username and password. Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and just get the download link here available for me. I'm going to have to move some stuff around. Let me get to Internet Explorer. You won't see this, but let me go ahead and change my screen here. And if I've done this right, So the download link, which we will email you with the current product ID, is shown up above here. The Keystroke POS downloads 800 and setup.exe. It is all in, oops, let's type that again. It is important to use upper lowercase in the name, called setup.exe. It does ask me to download it. I'm just going to go ahead and hit save here and talk about it a little bit more. While we're speaking about this, I want to kind of show you the keystroke while it's downloading. We can always go to the downloads and software updates. This is not where you're going to find version 8. We have our updates library, and it usually asks for a username and password. And you can call us to get that if you'd like. If I type it in right. And this is where you can find the current version of the Keystroke payment module, KeyPay. There's also older versions, but what I wanted to show you here is the third-party hardware devices. If we click on this, this is what our update installer takes you to automatically. Somehow I got a big screen or big font. Hopefully you can see it. But this is not just where the VX805 drivers come from, nor the Cayenne instructions. These are some older drivers you can get to. Our update installer, I'll show you in a little bit, actually will allow you to go to this page without putting in the username and password. So we're kind of leaving it up to people can't browse and find it and just stumble upon these drivers. If they have a current Keystroke version, the update installer will allow them to get there. If they don't, they need to get support, and then they can get to this page. But you as a dealer can get here. You're going to notice we have the Verifone section here and the VX805 instructions. It talks about how you get the drivers. You can't get them from this page. You have to get them from our update installer. And some other information here. Alright, I'm about 91% done downloading, and what I'm going to demonstrate today is how easy it is just to install right over the top. Let me go ahead and close this. I'm going to bring it back to our screen here. It's still downloading. It's very soon to be finished here. I've actually, I'm going to open up my computer and show this. As we probably all know, there's many ways to do backups. I think the best way when we're talking about a backup is to understand that the keystroke folder is pretty much where everything resides. If you were to turn off any KeyPay service or Keymail service and close all copies of Keystroke, you should be able to just right-click on your Keystroke folder and select Copy, right-click somewhere else and select Paste. I'm not going to do that now to save time. But that's one way to get everything. That's going to have the Keystroke version 7 in this case executables. It's going to have your data folder, which is all your data, your forms folder, which you as dealers know is where your custom forms go. And it'll also be where you go ahead and have your things like reports or custom reports. And if you have any batch files or anything else of that nature, it's always best to back up the whole folder. Well, I'm going to go ahead and run. I'm going to go to my downloads here. And by the way, we have the program we just downloaded. It's about just under 90 megabytes. It's version 8. It's the current version is what you're always going to get when you go to the website or if you use the update installer. I'm just going to go and double click this. And you're going to notice, after I say run here, you're going to notice that, let me change this to get to our setup program. As I go through our setup, it looks almost identical to version 7.15. Just some little notes on the top that it's version 8. Or we're going to do the license system with the product ID. We're going to say next to that. And notice here, Keystroke will always know where your older version of Keystroke was. I could have gone through my registry and actually removed my references to version 8, but at this time I'm going to leave that the way it is. It found it in a different folder than I want to install to. I can always change this, but here's the good news. if you were installed in a program called C, Shared, Programs, Keystroke, when you start up version 8, it's going to say, would you like to install it as C, Shared, Programs, Keystroke. It'll know where your last installed version is. It actually goes through a hierarchy of saying, is version 8 installed? If not, is version 7 installed? If not, is version 6 installed? And it'll go through that process. I'm going to change this for this demonstration to the Keystroke folder, because I've actually made that version 7. I'm going to change this to, these are just also references to registry entries. If you ever wonder, like, well, why is it picking those folders, call us, we'll let you know. There's a certain registry entry it looks at. By default, it brings up the What's New document. It also will bring up the current PADSS implementation guide. I'm going to go ahead and let these be checked at this time. We'll just kind of touch base on them. They're documents that are installed. You can always look at them later. So it's go ahead and starting the install at this time. I'm going to unmute the crowd. I just want to ask Nick. Nick, how's my volume working today?
It's doing okay. You're kind of having a delay every now and then where it gets a little distorted.
Okay, thanks. And I'll probably slow down when I need to here, but thank you.
Yeah.
So we're just watching the install go through. And this shouldn't take very long. And while it's doing the installation, let's talk about some important facts. The version 8 does require strong passwords. People are going to hate this. As dealers, we've always had a way to get people in Keystroke quickly, but the rules for PCI involve that anybody with a security level 0 to 5, that's the default, will have to use a strong password. A strong password in Keystroke is 7 characters or more, at least 1 letter and 1 number. You don't need any special characters and you don't need uppercase. We found out from people that are using Keystroke the last few months that they don't like to enter their passwords so many times. So some of the managers and some of the owners will actually set up a second clerk in the clerk database with a security level of 6 or higher, which is actually lower, 6 to 10 for instance. Then they can go ahead and enter in that clerk number with limited or no password at all. And then if they need to do some higher end functions like go in and change printers or change security levels or add clerks, they would have to then log in at the other numbers. So we're getting a little bit of feedback. Nobody likes long passwords, but it is the day and age of long passwords, as we all know. And there are requirements that they must be changed every 90 days or sooner. And KeyPay also has similar requirements. If you're going to use KeyPay, that's using the non-Cayenne device and non-VX805 device. And we'll be having some more install webinars, some Keystroke Lives on those devices and how you set those up. So we're almost done with the install here. And the bottom line is it's as simple as it's always been for many versions. You install right over the top of the Keystroke folder, you open up Keystroke, and voila, your data gets converted and so forth. And as we're speaking here, I'm going to move over to this and edit a shortcut. And I'm just going to open up the Keystroke data once this gets done install the Keystroke tutor data. Make sure I don't have any typos there. Alright, the installation is complete. Version 8's been installed right over the top of version 7. I'll go ahead and bring up these documents one by one. This is the, sorry, wrong one. Close that. The PADSS implementation guide, a 21-page guide that tells people what their company is required to do for point of sale and credit cards. It's been recently updated in the last 6 months. This is our version 3.0 qualification. So if people want to know the nuts and bolts about what PCI is all about, this document, the PADSS Implementation Guide for Keystroke POS, nice long name, is in your Keystroke doc folder. so they can always get at it. It does have some references to the PCI Council and how to get there to see our stuff. I also had turned on the What's New document. This is now in PDF format. This has been updated also in the last 6 months, and it talks about some advanced POS features and some differences between POS and advanced. Again, it's updated. It's 6 pages. This is something people are going to want to look at, see what's new and great. There's a lot more going on in the background. Once we get it all documented, it'll be updated too. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm just going to start up Keystroke. And when this opens up, it'll give me a message. And I've opened up. I didn't spend any time putting in my Keystroke serial number, my dealer number, and so forth. So this is going to start up in evaluation mode. It's going to show you some of the prompts that are coming up in version 8. We'll say OK to that. And it does its normal thing here. And I've actually opened up the tutor data, so it's not going to do any conversion. But notice here it'll tell you the version is 8.00 build 21. And notice as I clerk in our tutor or sample data, it's going to ask me to clock in. We just have that as a feature to show people it can be done. And this is what's going to happen to almost all of your customers. They're going to get this message that says your password has expired. And really what it's doing is saying that you need to add a new password. And so a lot of your end users are going to get frustrated on this, but it's just the way it's going to be. You need to update your Keystroke password. I'm just going to go ahead and use a default one we like to use in-house here. It is 7 characters or more, and it contains 1 letter and 1 number at least. And when I say OK to this, it tells me that the new password has been accepted and it expires in 3 months from today. Sorry, 90 days from today. That's why it's the 12th of April, 90 days. So we say OK to that. And now we're into Keystroke, very similar to version 8. In this case, now anybody else that clerks in this case, we have clerks that are levels, like clerk number 2 in this case is called Betty Bernard. Clerk number 2 in our sample data is security level 2. It's kind of for testing. 2 is 2, 3 is 3, and so forth. It's going to ask the same thing for this clerk, that they have a new password that they must enter, must meet the requirements, and it expires again in 90 days. I'm going to change this and open up some older data, and let's see if I can, give me a second here. It's going to ask you to convert the data, and keeping in mind that, make sure I got the right window selected. Telling me about the evaluation notice. Make sure you call us. Oh, looks like this data doesn't exist. I'm sorry, I thought I had some data to convert. This is going to initialize some new data. But make sure you get a product ID from us for any customer that wants to be on Keystroke, version 8. Well, it's as simple as that. There's really nothing to it. It's just installing over the top like we normally do. I'm going to go ahead and just open this up for questions. This is going to be one of the simplest presentations I've had so far, keeping in mind that version 8 is just a kind of it's very similar to version 7. You can't go back to the older version, so make sure you have a full backup of your data folders if you need to restore it. And I'll open it up for questions. Does anyone have any questions for me about version 8 and doing the installation?
Is there a document that compares version 7.15 to 8?
Yes, there is. Thank you. That kind of leads me into what I did forget. Let me open up another program. I'm going to, you may not see my desktop, but I'm going to start all programs, Keystroke POS, and maybe I can show, well, it's called the Keystroke Update Installer. It's people that have used it in version 7 will recognize it. I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to go ahead and show it here when it pops up. There we go. All right. This is the Keystroke Update Installer. You asked if there's any documentation and so forth on Keystroke version 8. First of all, it'll tell you if you're up to date. The wording up here will change to available update if you're not currently up to date. It'll show you your current installation, what you have, what your serial number is, and what your software support date is. I'm going to go ahead and click on this Learn More down here at the bottom. And we have a couple of things. We have the Quick Start Guide that tells people how to kind of start setting up their inventory, setting up their printers, setting up departments, and so forth. Right here, to answer your question, is our Keystroke version 8 product comparison. It's a PDF from our website. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. It should download it and open it up. Give it a few seconds here. And I'll let it open, and then I'll change my view. Here we go. There we go. So this document here is the Keystroke version 8 with product comparisons. So this talks about version 8 on the first page. If I scroll down, it's going to talk about some comparisons between Express POS, regular POS, and Advanced POS. We do have a different document that shows you some differences between version 7 and version 8. We're kind of building that document at this time to kind of make it a little more robust. It'll help you as dealers resell the product a little better so people know what's coming. We also have some neat things coming in version 8, which are the .NET report, the what you see is what you get, the WYSIWYG report editor where you can move fields around by dragging and dropping them. But this is a great tool here. You're welcome to download this, print this out for your clients. This is more of a comparison of the different products, Express, POS versus Advance, versus the changes. Again, the What's New document, as I go back to the Update Installer, the Learn screen has the What's New document. This is the same document that just opened up when I did the install. And so this is just the What's New PDF, and if you go through this, this kind of talks about what's new in version 8. There is a WNew 715 PDF file that says what's new in version 715. That's older, from older versions. And you can see, our table of contents is kind of small at this time. We're working on trying to beefing this up to kind of show some neat features. But really one of the big deals is about PCI compliance. We're PCI 3.0 compliant, and we're also EMV compliant now with Mercury and Cayenne.
And the reports you mentioned?
Was there any other questions I can answer for you guys?
We were told that was the reason for 8, and it was in there when we were in September. Who just said it's coming?
Oh, I'm sorry, repeat that question. Was that Ralph? Sorry?
I think he's talking to somebody else, Mike.
Oh, gotcha. I'm sorry.
Sounded like he was on another call.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So the Update Installer, keep in mind that's the best place. Like I went to the Learn menu. I'm going to go back here. Every time you run this, it's going to check to see if you're on the current version. Many of you dealers don't really want your end users to go update Keystroke out of the blue, willy-nilly, and just say, hey, I updated, now everything's not working. So we're going to leave it up to you to share this information. If somebody needs to update and we say, hey, there's been a problem that's been fixed, why don't we get you updated? We can, as tech support people, can walk them through that. That's kind of our goal. We don't want to make it like a Windows update that says, hey, it's Tuesday morning, your Keystroke's just been updated, guess what? So we were always leaving it not as a menu inside a Keystroke that can't bring down the help and about and click the Update Installer. We're kind of keeping it as that one shortcut under the Start menu. We leave it up to the people that know what they're doing to actually update Keystroke. And if you ever call us and need to update it, this is what it is. If you ever find yourself expired, like I am today, I'm expired because I didn't put in a product ID, you just need to call us and we'll make sure they're on a current support plan and send you a new product ID.
Hey, Mike, another easy place to get the version 8 PDF is right on the website homepage. Just click on the new version 8 graphic at the top of the page, and that'll get that same PDF downloaded for you quickly.
Exactly. KeystrokePOS.com. Quick and easy way to get it if you're not sitting in front of a computer that has Keystroke installed on it. Thank you, Nick. Well, great. So today's the end of our presentation on updating to version 8. Just call or email us with a client that wants to go to version 8, or you as a dealer. We'll send you out a brand new product ID today with the download link. And next week we haven't really figured out what we're going to do for Keystroke Live, but you'll be getting an email. So if there aren't any other questions, let me know if there are, but otherwise, thank you for attending.
Mike, is there anything been figured out on Topaz with the VX805?
Yes. There's a new parameter. We just added it in build 22. You won't see it yet. We're still testing build 22. Actually, on the Mercury EMV authorization method, it says use external signature capture. So it'll actually go look at the signature capture settings like the Topaz device and allow you to use that and actually save the signature with the transaction. So that's a good comment, Randy. Thank you. And it's in build 22. We're probably going to be testing build 22 for the rest of the week here. We usually don't release any new builds till like Monday. So build 22 hopefully will be ready on Monday for anyone that needs it. Okay? Good question. Anybody else? All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good day, and I'll end the meeting now.